Welcome to Creative Tien channel. In this video, I have a tutorial about hand knitting cast on. That's for the ribbing. And this is an easier way to start a 1x1 ribbing, and it creates a nice edge. So you will need some knitting needle, either the circular one or the double point needles. The first method I'm showing is similar to the cable cast on. You start with a slip knot. I have the working yarn on the right. First, I will knit a stitch. And place a stitch to the needle. The next stitch, I'm going to insert the needle from the back between the first and second stitches. So, like that. And then you purl the stitch and pull out a little bit longer and place the stitch back to the left needle. Now we have 3 stitches. And the next one, we are going to go from the front between the 2 stitches, going front to the back and knit, pull out a little bit and place back to the needle and tighten a little bit. So we are just alternating front and back. My last stitch is going from the front. The next one I'm going to go from the back. So it's between the 2 stitches, from the back to the front. And then wrap the yarn, pull through, and pull out a little bit more so you can place a stitch back to the needle. The next one will go from the front between the 2 stitches. And place a stitch back to the needle. And then we'll go from the back. And then we'll go from the front between the 2 stitches and knit. Place it back to the needle. And then go from the back. We just keep repeating these 2 stitches for as long as you need it. I have 16 stitches now. You can see the cast on. 1 stitch is toward the front, 1 is toward the back. And the stitch toward the front, you can use it as purl stitch. The stitch in the back, you can use as knit. So I start with the purl stitch with the yarn in the front of the needle. Insert the needle, purl off the needle. And the next one will do knit, place yarn to the back, insert the needle, knit stitch, and then place the yarn in the front. We'll do purl stitch off the needle, place the yarn in the back, knit, purl, the last stitch, knit. So that's our first row of the 1x1 ribbing. And we can turn and continue our ribbing. So you see the first stitch is the purl. We see the bump, so we'll do a purl stitch. And then yarn to the back, we'll do the knit stitch. And we'll just continue alternating knit and purl stitches for several rows. Now you can see the 1 by 1 ribbing. The cast on is kind of stretchy and it creates a neat finish. The second method of the ribbing cast on requires some waste yarn, and it's better to have contrasting color. So I will start with this as my waste yarn. And you can cast on anyway for the stitch count you need. I'm just going to use a long tail cast on for about 16 stitches. I start with a slip stitch and long tail cast on for 16. Now I have 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I have 16 stitches. I'm going to continue turn over and just knit a row of the knit stitch. Later we'll take out all the waste yarn. This is only temporary. So we start with the knit stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that's our knit stitch row, and I'm going to switch to the main color yarn. Actually, I'm going to use the white color. So we turn over, I'll cut off the yarn, and I will start with my main color yarn. Since we are on the back side of the stockinette stitch, this is all purl stitch, so I will keep that purl stitch. The purpose is to have a few rows of stockinette stitches. I will start from here. Tighten up a little bit, and we're going to do a row of purl stitch. Now we finish the row of purl stitch, we turn over and continue our stockinette stitch. So this will be the front side. It's all the knit stitch below. So we'll do all knit stitches on this side. And this will be the second row for my main color yarn. And tighten up a little bit. That's my knit row, and then we turn over and continue our purl stitch row. So we'll purl all the way. 1, 2, 3. So that's our third row. And you can see there is a row of the white color below. That's the stitches we want to pick up. So in the next row, row 4, we are going to start doing the knit and purl stitches for the ribbing. And we are in the right side, so we start with a knit. And then we are going to pick up the stitch in the back. If we look at the back side, this is the first stitch that has the white bar. We pick up that stitch, place it onto the left needle and we'll do a purl. So the yarn to the front and purl that stitch. So you can see with this method, our stitch will double at the end. So when we cast on, we only need to cast on half of the stitches. So next one, we'll go back to knit stitch. That's this one. And then we'll pick up the next stitch in the back. That's this bar here. Place on the needle. And then we'll do a purl. And then knit. And then pick up stitch from the back. It's the next one. And then we'll do the purl. Knit. And then purl. So every time we do the purl stitch, we pick up the stitch from the back. We pick up the main color and place to the needle. Purl. Knit. Purl. Knit. The next will be purl. Let's pick up the stitch in the back. And purl. Knit. Now we finish our first knit and purl row. So you can see we double the stitch count. So if I want the 16 stitches, I only need to cast on 8 stitches at the beginning. So you can see the cast on, it has 1 stitch toward the front, 1 stitch toward the back. So we'll just follow that pattern for the 1x1 ribbing. Here the first stitch is purl. So I will do the purl stitch with the yarn in the front, purl. And the next stitch will be knit. So we knit the knit stitch and purl the purl stitch, just alternating knit, purl, knit, purl. And continue for a few rows. Purl, knit, and I can just take off the waste yarn. That's after taking out the waste yarn. You can see the cast on. It's very neat. Very clean. This is the first cast on. This is the second one. I like this method better because the edge looks very clean. But you do have to take more time at the beginning to knit up the waste yarn. So it will take longer. And remember, you only need to cast on half of the stitches. Thank you for watching today. Hope this is helpful and see you in the next video.